And we're talking week 11, set 2, SWYK 2, more quadratic formula stuff, but this time we're dealing with story problems. I know, your favorite. So you're selling boxes of flower seeds as a fundraiser. I know, it's exciting stuff. You better sell a lot of them, or they better be really expensive. The total profit P depends on the amount X that your class charges for each box of seeds. So X, I know it's kind of unfortunate that price and profit are the two variables because they both start with the letter P. So your price is X, and they used P for profit, but that's like your Y value. And they gave you the equation for it right there. All right? Now, what are we really dealing with? They want to know something, and we have an upside-down parabola like this red one. They want to know if the green line, 396, is going to cross it. I guarantee you it will. It's going to cross it twice. Okay. Let's look at their question. What's the smallest? Smallest. Come on, lock it in place. Smallest amount in dollars that you can charge and make a profit of at least $3.96. So, in other words, from my picture, there are going to be two solutions. We know for a fact that we want this one because it's the smallest. Okay, so what do we do with the $3.96? We plug it in for the profit, which is what I am showing you right here with the green arrow. But in order to use the quadratic formula or any part of the quadratic formula, it must be set equal to 0. So move that 396. If you guys have watched Extreme Home Makeover, the old TV show, they would say, "Bus driver, move that 396." Actually, I don't think they said that, but you will get the idea. They moved the 396 over to the other side, and that gave them negative 594. Okay, now it's time to hit it with the quadratic formula. Do a little b squared minus 4ac. Once again, be careful of the whole negative situation because there seems like a lot of negatives there. And it ends up being 108, which is a positive number. That guarantees you're going to have two real solutions. And so now it's time to go to the rest of the quadratic formula. Plug it in right there. Opposite of b plus and minus square root of the 108, right, which that's your discriminant, all over 2 times a. We know that 2 times negative 0.5 is negative 1, which is why I just automatically changed those on the bottom to negative 1. Because some of you make mistakes when you're starting to type these things. If you're trying to do things in the numerator all together, one thing you can do is hit the enter button and then divide by negative 1. But if you're going to try to do this all in one line, make sure you hit the, I showed you red parentheses. Use those parentheses around the top. Then the division key, negative 1 equals, and then you should get the same answers I did. 25.61 and 46.39. Of course, 25.61 is the smaller amount and is the winner of this particular question. Next. Question 2, another situation with profit. A weekly revenue for a company is revenue equals, and then they give me this equation. Once again, we have that upside down, negative a value, negative 3p squared plus 60p plus 181. P is price, R is revenue. Use the discriminant to find whether there is a price for which the weekly revenue would be $1,200. Okay? We want to know. I mean, the truth of the matter is, $1,200 could be up there, or 1,200 could be right there, in which case it would cross it once, or 1,200 could be right there, in which case it would cross it 2 times. So which situation are we in? When we do the, oh, I forgot, we got to plug the 1,200 in. So the 1,200 gets plugged in for the revenue, okay, that's over here, and then to get it set equal to 0 to use the discriminant formula, whoosh, subtract that to the other side. So that's where we end up with the red equation, and then we can use the discriminant formula, right? B squared minus 4ac. We end up with negative 8,628. That is definitely telling me that the green line is above the parabola, never touches the parabola. So therefore, we have a no. Okay? I don't need to use the quadratic formula on this question, folks, because they did not ask me for solutions. Besides, I'd end up with imaginary numbers anyway. And we're not worried about that in this particular situation. Okay, the cannonball situation. Whoops, marked on screen for no good reason. So we're launching a cannonball from a cannon. I need you to kind of get in your mind like almost like a y-axis and an x-axis. Okay? And we can find a parabola that kind of follows the path of this cannonball. Now, keep in mind that a parabola continues on forever and ever and ever. Only part of this parabola actually makes sense to the question, right? Such as the time right here. We have time on the x-axis and height on the y-axis. The time when it starts is 0. Negative time doesn't make sense. Before that cannon actually got fired? What is that? That doesn't have any bearing on this. Anyway, so the height, we really only need the positives or 0. I mean, we're not driving this thing into the ground, folks. Okay, it bounces off the ground or hits the ground or whatever. That's what we're really interested in. Now, when we say the height of the ground, what height are we talking about? Of course, we're talking about 0. What is going on? I have to pause this because all right, I'm back. So we plugged in height of 0, right? Ground means height of 0, so we plugged that into the equation for the height. Now we're going to hit it with the quadratic formula. Opposite, we go with the discriminant. Discriminant ended up being 1,124.29, right? B squared minus 4AC. Got to use a calculator because these are weird numbers, right? Then I go to the rest of the quadratic formula. Opposite of B, plus or minus, square root, B squared of the discriminant, right? We drop that discriminant down in there. The bottom, 2 times A, is negative 9.8. So if you want to just change it to negative 9.8 to save yourself a little trouble, be careful when you're typing. Now, I ended up with 2 different answers. One of them was negative 0.31 seconds. The other one was 6.53 seconds. I found this one when I did the plus on the top, and I found this one when I did the minus on the top. Now, remember we said we're only interested in after the cannon gets fired. This doesn't make any sense. Throw it out. It's a useless piece of information to me. 6.53 seconds is the winning time, okay, because that is after the object was launched. Do we have any more? Nope, we don't. Well done. You're done with this particular SWYK. Talk to you later.